Hi, I'm Amy Rasdell from Billable at the Beach. Today's topic is, what will the recovery look like for consulting? So first, I think it's pretty consistent throughout the consulting community that most people have seen some degree of slowdown. Most people have seen a little bit of interruption or more than a little bit to business as usual. And I've seen that range anywhere from billable work still being relatively strong, but the pipeline and prospects looking weaker, to on the extreme side, people who really saw current projects cut, contracts for the rest of the year really slashed, and a pipeline vaporizing, and kind of everything in between. But everyone is seeing some slowdown either in their current work or in what their pipeline for the rest of the year looks like. So that's relatively consistent. It's not surprising because part of our value proposition as consultants is to be what I call a water faucet resource, and that's easy on, easy off. And unfortunately, many of us have just experienced the easy off part, but there's a flip side to that, and that is easy on. So today I want to talk about what I think that turning back on and the recovery is going to look like. So I have not survived a global pandemic because there hasn't been one for 100 years, but my consulting business is more than 15 years old, so I did survive the Great Recession. And what we saw in the post-recession recovery as consultants is that business picked up much quicker for consultants than it did for actual full-time jobs. And that's because companies have been hit hard, and it's much easier to add consultants than it is to add full-time employees or FTEs with all of the overhead of hiring and training. Also, companies are going to be drastically trying to recover and sprint towards year end. So they really need resources that can come in and start contributing immediately. Superhero, superpower, super pay. That's what I always talk about. That's exactly what we are as consultants. So I think it's going to be a perfect time. We also have, along with the recovery, we have the convergence of year end. Now, regardless of the macroeconomic environment, heading into Q4 is always the best possible time of year to land a consulting project. I always ramp up all of my business development activity to position myself for Q4 because people always have things they need to get done before year end, and sometimes they have a little extra budget money. So what we're going to see in another 6 or 8 or 10 weeks is a convergence of COVID-19 recovery and the sprint to year end with the Q4 thing that I see every year. I really believe that it's going to be an ideal time for consulting. So I want all of you to really think about how to make sure that you're ideally positioned to take advantage of that. I want to make a few comments about the type of consulting that's going to get traction. Now, I don't need you to do something different from what your core expertise is, your superpower. I want you to stay with that. But if you do high level strategy work or high level process or org dev kind of restructuring, high level work, you may need to reframe, spin, or reposition what you're offering right now. You're going to need to focus on Q4 results. If you're pitching a proposal that goes on for 9 or 12 months, I think that's fine and good. Just make sure that you have plenty of tangible deliverables that are going to happen in Q4. Even if you have to break things down into smaller milestones than you're used to, I think that's fine. It's going to be critical to demonstrate results in Q4. If you need help with that, I'm always available. We can jump on and do some brainstorming about that. So feel free to reach out to me if you want some help figuring out what that looks like for what you do and your clients. I also want to make the rest of you aware, whether you're just getting started, whether you're looking for a restart after the slowdown, whether you haven't started yet. I want all of you to be positioned to take advantage of this opportunity. I have a lot of free resources on my Billable at the Beach website. I have a free email course called 3 Action Steps to Generate Revenue Now. It's a great way to get started or to do a restart or just a new way to generate business if you haven't already been using that method. I've taught it to hundreds of people, so I know that it works really well. I use it myself. I also have a free webinar which outlines my 5-step framework for building a 6-figure consulting business. So if you're just getting started or you feel like your consulting business could use a little bit more structure, that's another really good one. And I offer a paid program, which is Build Your 6-Figure Consulting Business. And I would be delighted to have you dive right in, full steam ahead. Now is a great time to be positioned for 6 to 8 to 10 weeks from now when the recovery happens. So reach out if you want to learn more or you need help or there's anything that I can do. I am here to serve our consulting community as a veteran who's been through all of it before, not a global pandemic, but things that are similar. And I have so much great experience that I would love to share with you as we all move forward. Be well, be safe.